Kadim, this is the Global Digest think tank group, and you are our guest today. So why don't you let us know where are you right now?
I'm in Islamabad right now. Islamabad is the capital of Pakistan, you know. I'm doing researches for a think tank called Center for Regional Policy and Dialogue, and then engage in activism, and of course connecting the youth specifically and political activists in Pakistan, and of course Pakistan, Afghanistan. And now India has become too far, but it still we try to have regional cooperation. So this regional cooperation is basically the focus that is there in my work these days.
Let's see.
We try to have engagement with the researchers, academia, activists, civil society organizations, political parties, political activism on all these things, you know. It's a broad range of issues.
You are doing regional cooperation, but it seems it's dividing or more tension in the region between your Pakistan and India.
It is increasingly becoming difficult to engage in with various actors in the region these days. And if you are asking me about the reason of these tensions and friction between India and Pakistan, or the hostilities time and again, this is the fourth war, if you have any
But
idea. This is the fourth war between India and Pakistan, and the war is on a region which actually has sources of water. So water is an existential issue for both Pakistan and India. And most of the sources of the rivers, they are located and situated in a region called Kashmir. So Kashmir is a separate region, of course, belonging neither to Pakistan nor India, but both countries just have a claim over it. Now, very few people have yet to ask the Kashmiris what they actually want. So the problem is that Pakistan calls Kashmir its jugular vein, and India calls Kashmir its inseparable part. Now, it's like a very strange thing that Kashmir has become a bone of contention when partition was taking place between, I mean, in South Asia and the Indian subcontinent. When partition was taking place, of course, during the era of colonialism, British colonialism, when colonialism, British colonization was coming to an end, then there was this kind of clash on the basis of religious sentiments. The clash or the friction was widened by the colonial masters, of course. So this friction and these kind of tension on the basis of religious nationhood. It is said, mean like it's not the actual thing, but it is said in the books, in textbooks of India and textbooks of Pakistan. It is usually mentioned that there was a tension between two parts of the Indian subcontinent on the basis of religious nationhood. And then this partition took place, and the partition was supervised by the colonial masters, of course. So this part of the region, which has large sources of water, both for Pakistan and India, it was kept as disputed. So there is now line of control. It's not, I mean, it's almost internationally accepted border, but it's called line of control. So line of control means like one part of Kashmir is controlled and administered by Pakistan, and the other part is controlled and administered by India. The eastern part is controlled by India, and the western part is controlled by Pakistan. Now, so the people of Kashmir, their democratic rights, their right to self-determination, their right to govern themselves, that has become least important during all these years, and both Pakistan and India. Now, India has a claim, or it has been, though it's in some cases verified, in some cases unverified, that while making problems inside the Indian administered Kashmir, Pakistan, India says, Pakistan uses armed extremist private militias to bleed the Indian government, to bleed the Indian military. Indian military has deployed, India has deployed lakhs of military personnel, or like battalions in Kashmir. So India claims that Pakistan has been using extremist private armed militias, non-state actors, to create problems for the Indian government and the Indian administered Kashmir. So whenever something happens inside Kashmir, like for example, this Pahalgam, like there is a place in Kashmir called Pahalgam. So this Pahalgam attack happened, it was a terrorist attack, and it was atrocious, of course, and it was, kind of heartbreaking attack on the tourists in Pahalgam in Kashmir, in which some 26 people were killed, point blank, they were killed. Indian instantly, instead of actually investigating who did it and who, like, for example, before even carrying out a proper investigation, India blamed Pakistan for this attack, and then the tension started, as it was started in 1948, and then 1971, and then 1965, 1948, 1965, 1971, and then in 2000, 1999 and 2000, kind of thing, like Kargil War. The last war was Kargil War. So this is actually the fifth war. If you put it rightly, this is the fifth war. So you must have understood now what actually is the issue. There are nuances, there are complications, of course, like there are UN resolutions on Kashmir, which says that the right to self-determination of Kashmiris must be acknowledged by both countries. And both countries have signed those resolutions, of course, and accepted those resolutions. But still, the thing continues. And both sides, like India and Pakistan, the elite of both sides, like the establishments of both sides, the bureaucratic establishment, the military establishments of both sides, they actually, on this very pretext, they gather a lot of resources, and they, for example, have a very swaying power in the governance structure due to this conflict that is there in Kashmir between India and Pakistan. This is a very convincing pretext, in fact. On both sides, actually, they try to fan extremist emotions, xenophobic emotions against each other. And in this way, they try to get more and more defense budgets and more war machines. They create more and more war machines. They establish more and more war factories. And so this karobar, this business, this trade is just going on, this trade of war, or you can say the business of war or war economy is going on. So the people of both countries, actually, they suffer because of it. The elites might be earning, those who are involved in war economy might be earning and might be getting, are becoming more powerful with the passage of time. They get more and more power with the passage of time. They get more and more money with the passage of time. But the people of both the countries, they suffer a lot because, like their human security, their social service delivery, their democratic structures, their institutions, justice system, all are in shambles. Their
So,
economy.
so recently uh, the attack the conflict between Pakistan and India. Can you say detailed casualty? How many people died, starting from uh, terrorist attacks last month and till today? How many Indian side military or air force involved in this conflict, and how many Pakistan side military or air force or involved, and how many casualties till today from April 28 terrorist attacks
Okay,
until
April
today,
28 when this
because
Pelgam attack was. Okay.
that is a continuous conflict, from terrorist
Yes,
attack
yes,
to the
yes, 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 of
until
course.
today. How many, I mean, detailed information, if you can update.
Yes, I mean, this Pahalgam attack actually, in this attack, in this terrorist attack at Pahalgam, some 26 people lost their lives. Most of them were tourists, except one who was a Navy officer, Indian Navy officer, except one. 25 out of 26 were tourists, foreign tourists. So these people were killed. Now, on the Indian side, now for like when some more, for example, missile attacks and the rest of the drone kind of things, these attacks. So some more people, like 2 dozen more people on the Indian side might have been killed. On the Pakistani side, after India started its Operation Sindoor, as they call it, and they they targeted, according to them, they targeted various cities of Pakistan. Some 11 cities of Pakistan were targeted, in which they believed there were terrorists were harboring in those areas, or they thought, or they say, according to them, there were terrorist havens in these 11 cities. So when these 11 cities were targeted, missile targets, of course, missile and drone targets. Some 31 people have so far been killed from the Pakistani side. Most of them are civilians. So, as in Pahalgam, most of the people were civilians, or almost all of them were civilians. So, the same is the case on Pakistani side, that 31 civilians have been killed. So, on both sides, actually, there are casualties, civilian casualties, and of course, you multiply it by five. So, for example, 100 and more were wounded from the Pakistani side, and 100 and more must have been wounded on the Indian side. So, of course, so far there has been casualties of civilians only, not of any military personnel, except in that Pahalgam attack, in which one Navy officer was killed.
So you said 21 civilian died so far today, up
So
to
far, 31 civilians, yes,
in Pakistan side,
in
and
Pakistan side.
India side, 25 civilian
Yes.
died and one army officer died. So 26 people died, and after shooting, it's additional die or casual. I mean, how many? There are normal casualty, normal dead civilian.
These are the reported casualties of civilians. No, I think, or many people think, and I also think while observing this whole situation, I think the casualties must be far more on both sides. For example, there have been hundreds and hundreds of drone attacks. So, of course, there must have been many casualties. And there are missile attacks, surface to air missile attacks, air to surface missile attacks. So, from both sides, Pakistani side have also started their own operation, which they call is Bunyanul Marsus, while the Indian side, they call their own operation as Sindoor operation. So from both sides, there are missile attacks and there are drone attacks. So they both sides say that their attacks are non-escalatory. And both sides claim that they're measured and systematic and non-escalatory. but you know, there is always a probability of error and miscalculation. Interestingly or curiously, the regional, I mean, the states of the region, of course, man, for example, Iran and China and the rest of the countries, and the international community like Western Europe and the US and the rest of the people, they kind of are giving the signals of indifference. So previously, many people like UAE or Saudi Arabia or Iran or China or Russia or America or Western Europe countries in Western Europe like UK and Germany, they would intervene and they would push the two sides to talk to each other, and then the two sides would back down. But this time, it's not happening. The international community and regional powers, they are posing as if they are indifferent to this war.
Right. Yeah. In Pakistan side, up to date, it's 21 civilian died, as you said, and India side,
31.
31 civilian died in Pakistan side up to date, and India side, 26 civilian died at the terrorist attack, and a lot
Yes,
of injury are there.
of course, I mean, there are a lot of injuries and wounded people, and these are the reported casualties. Like the ones they mean the casualties that have been so far reported on the state media, from the state media and private media of both the countries.
Missile attack or drone attack, yeah, nobody, no more died in India side till today.
So far, very little casualties or few casualties have been reported after these missile attacks from both sides. So, for example, you know the first casualty during war, you must of course know about it a lot. The first casualty in war is truth. Like fake news just are, in the circulation most of the time. So of course, like media on both sides is controlled and have been put under pressure to take the position of their respective states. That's why perhaps reporting is also quite rationed or quite controlled. So that's why we cannot say, but the reported so far, the reported casualties are 31 and 26, 31 from Pakistani side, 26 from the Indian sides. After these missile attacks from both sides, attacks and retaliations from both sides, perhaps there might be more than 2 dozens on both sides, more casualties. This is what actually is perceived by the
I
people.
see. What about how many foot soldier or uh, tanks or armors or jet fighter involved from India side? Do you have idea?
In India, sir, some lake, eight lake, mean 800,000, you can say. Some 800,000 troops are taking part in this operation, and some 100 jet planes are taking part in this operation, reportedly Indian media and the Indian media. The Indian media that is still allowed to be seen or watched or read in Pakistan, and from Pakistani side, of course, like some 400,000 or 500,000 troops and some five, I mean 50 jets are taking part. But as far as the number of drones is concerned, that's far more. Hundreds and hundreds of drones from both sides are taking part in these operations.
And do you see any technology or any new weapon, new technology, or any uh, or new jet jet fighter or any special drone? Anything involved in this conflict? Do you notice?
Yeah, yes, many new technologies, several new technologies have been observed to be used in these hostilities from both sides. For example, from the Indian side, sorry, from the Indian side, this drone imported from Israel is being used, which is called as Harthan. So this is being used besides Rafale fighter jets, which have been imported from France, that are being used most of the time. And from Pakistani sides, this a drone interceptor, perhaps as it claimed by several observers, independent observers, that several of the drone interceptors or missile interceptors imported from China are being used. So far, these are new technologies that are being used in from both sides.
So also I heard is true or not? American F-16 jet fighter is not allowed in Pakistan to use it in this conflict.
Yes, yes. This F-16, the deal of this F-16 was made between America and Pakistan long ago. I mean, like some 10 or 12 years back. And the one of the conditions of the deal was that it would not be used against India. So, of course, this F-16 is not being used in this war
What
or in
about
these.
India use any Russian jet fighter or any
So far,
missile or any
the Russian technology is not being reported in these hostilities, but the French Rafale is being quite often mentioned in the hostilities.
so up to date, is there any between two military, any troop movement or any armor tanks or any jet fighter still flying or shooting, drone is still flying or shooting up to date? You have any idea? How can you say that?
So far, I mean, like the big cities of Pakistan and India are concerned, I mean, like large number of armored cars and tanks and cannons are being used, of course. I mean, like any hundreds and hundreds of armors are being used. I mean, like, and they are on the move. And of course, I mean, like,
Still today.
till today, but today it was a bit quiet and silent from both sides. Though, I mean, like yesterday, several airports in northern India and in Pakistan, southern Pakistan, like Karachi and Lahore and Rawalpindi, they have been closed for flights, for civilian flights. Like airports have been closed for civilian flights, but what we see or what we observe now, there is a relative calm from both sides. Like it's like silence before the storm, you can call it. So what happens tonight, nobody knows. But tonight, I mean today, like since morning, most of the cities in Pakistan are calm. For example, I saw Islamabad today and I roamed around in Rawalpindi and the rest of the places and talked to friends in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province of Pakistan, and of course, Balochistan province of Pakistan or Punjab province of Pakistan. So there is relative calm in big cities, of course, in Pakistan. As far as the Indian side is concerned, northern India, the various airports had been closed yesterday. But I hear today from those who report independently or on social media. Those social media cannot be just a credible source of news these days in Pakistan and India. But I think there is relative calm in the north of India as well. So from both sides, there is relative calm, though troops and armors and air force and navies and all the forces, mean armed forces, are just standby. They are on standby. I mean, like they are ready from both sides. They're ready for any kind of attack. So, God forbid, if there is any error from any side or miscalculation from any side, these two nuclear armed neighbors might engage
Right,
in a destructive thing that might expand the scope of war to the whole of the region as well.
right. So, what about jet fighter? How many Indian jet fighter were shot down, and how many Pakistani jet fighter were shot down? Do you have any idea?
Well, Pakistan claims that they have downed some some 5 to 10 fighter jets. The Pakistani side claims that they have downed some 5 to 10 of
Indian
fighter
jet fighter.
jets. Yeah, fighter jets. But the Indian side claims there was in only two of their Rafales were crashed. Now, I mean, inside their own territory, of course. So it is unknown whether, I mean, like the reason is unknown. Why were they crashed inside their territory? The independent reporters, they think that it might be, the number might be between 2 and 5 that the Indian jets have been downed these days, and from the Pakistani sides, scores of drones have been intercepted and have been downed.
Only four?
So far, so yes, drones. So far, no fighter jet has been downed or claimed to have been downed by India. So far, no Pakistani fighter jet has been claimed to be downed by India because perhaps Pakistani fighters or for jet fighters, they have not yet crossed their international borders, or they have not entered the airspace, the Indian airspace. Though they have closed the Pakistani airspace, but they have not entered the Indian airspace. That is why they have not yet been. There is no report that any of the fighter jets of Pakistani fighter jets have been so far downed.
So you said only four drones in this shoot down by India side.
No, no,
Pakistani,
several. I said several drones,
uh,
scores of drones.
so you don't know exact number of Pakistani
Yes, the
drone
exact
was
number
shot down.
is not known because the number varies in various from various sources. You know, it's a lot of variations. As I told you, the first casualty in war times is truth. So you cannot just, kind of trust the reporting from the partisan sides, of course. So we search for, or we ask the people who claim to be independent, like, for example, I searched Guardian last night, the whole night, and some other, Masalan Al Jazeera, for example, and the rest of the things. So there was no report of downing the Pakistani air jets, and no report of downing the Indian air jets, as far as only two Indian fighter jets have been downed, as it was reported. But many people, mean like many reporters, independent reporters, are of the view that scores of Pakistani drones have been intercepted and have been downed.
So it means no exact Pakistani drone was they shoot
No
down
exact
because
number,
of,
yes.
and also uh, there is no Indian drone or no Pak-
Several scores of Indian drones have been
shoot
downed these
down.
days and intercepted and downed, and the debris is it has been shown, man, like in Rawalpindi and in Karachi and in Lahore. The debris of drones have been shown on TV and the rest of the social media platforms.
So it means you cannot confirm the number of Indian drone intercepted and the numbers of Pakistan drone are intercepted in these conflicts. There are a lot of
The
numbers
number,
of
the number, the number might be between 20 to 50. Like it's very,
Indian
very
drone
large
or
gap. That's
Pakistani drone.
Indian drones.
Indian drone were about 20 to 25 were is
Yes.
intercepted.
Yeah.
And Pakistani drone, how
The
many
same
times?
number. Yes. The same number of Pakistani drones.
I see. So that you're estimated because you are working at the think tank, CRP
Yes.
think tank
Yes. Yes.
and researcher. Usually think tank should have more accurate and more, confirm information. So you should be better than other social media. That's the
Of
truth.
course, of course. I mean, like that is why I'm very much careful while giving you the number, you know,
Right,
because as I told you, the social media and the mainstream media from both sides, they have created a hype and a xenophobic hype actually,
right,
in which both sides claim that they have done this and this and this. So I mean, like we don't look at them mostly. So we search for independent observers and independent reporters, as I told you. I mean, like in personal context, as well as those of their platforms that are available on internet.
right. And you said Pakistani jet fighter not across Indian border, and but you want to say Indian jet fighter cross Pakistani border, they fly inside
Yes.
Pakistan. How many Indian jet
Yes. Yes.
fighter
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
fly
Uh,
inside
uh,
Pakistan territory?
Yes, yes, of course. Mean like Pakistan claimed that Indian fighter jets entered the Pakistan airspace, and India never denied it. Indian media did not deny it. They entered the Pakistani airspace, mean many of them, but two of them were downed. But Indian media claims that these two air fighter jets that were downed were inside the territory of India. So both claim actually to be measured and non-escalatory.
But India said it is in their own territory. They claim, and Pakistan claimed. They said they came into Pakistan territory where the jet shoot down was fall and where the location they fall down, those jets shoot down. Then we can identify where is the jet fall.
Yeah,
Or
they say that it's like the jets were. I mean, like the Indians claim that the jets were downed in or crashed, as they call it. The Indian side claims that their fighter jets crashed in Pathankot in the Indian administered Kashmir. While Pakistan claims that they have downed the Indian fighter jets inside the India Pakistani administered Kashmir across the line of control.
so if it is in Pakistani territory, Pakistani army cannot go there and they can pick the debris or the broken jet fighter in that location. So who
Yes, it's
who who pick up those jet debris by Indian side or by Pakistani side? Who bring all those fighter jet
First Pakistani side claimed that they have downed five Rafale fighter jets. Then the Indian side refuted the news and said that their own two jets crashed inside the Indian administered Kashmir. So then the independent, the CNN reporter went there and he confirmed it that the two jets have been crashed, and the Indian media then actually the Indian state media then accepted that two of their fighter jets have been downed near Pathankot in Indian held Kashmir.
So that Pathankot is Pakistani territory or Indian territory?
No, that's Indian territory.
Then it means Indian claim may be true because the jet was down in Pathankot in India side. So
Yes,
it mean Indian jet fighter not enter Pakistan because it is fall down in Indian side. So
Pakistan actually claims that the Indian jets um, hovered over the Pakistani airspace, fired missiles, and then went back. And while going back, they were
it's
chased and they were downed. That is what is the Pakistani story. Now, the Indian story says that they have targeted the terrorist havens in 11 cities through drones, and none of their jets has entered the Pakistani airspace. It was non-escalatory and measured. This is what India actually claims. Now, the independent reporters they claim that two jets have been crashed near Pathankot in the Indian held Kashmir, which seems as if this story that was later on confirmed by the Indian media that two of their jets have been crashed or have crashed inside their territory was true, of course.
so there is uh, the territory crossing at the airspace, as you said, Indian Air Force. But a lot of Pakistani drone also crossing Indian border, right? Probably.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
drone and air fighter jets are crossing air space of each other, and they are
Yes. The
they violated the airspace and the border through airspace. I don't know, is there any Indian ground troops and Pakistani ground troops? They crossed the LOC borderline and violated the borderline by ground troop from both sides.
Well, there are two issues. You see, I mean, like I make it clear. To make it clear, there are two issues. Number one, the ground troops from both sides, they have not yet crossed the line of control. They continued mortar shelling at each other for the last 2 or 3 days, but there has not been any incident of crossing the LOC. Like by mistake, some farmer crosses some line. That is another case. Mean like, for
Right.
example, a farmer or two. For example, two dead bodies have been shown by Indian media that they were Pakistani spies, but actually the CNN confirmed that they were farmers who crossed the line of control by mistake. I mean, it was an error. So that is what this is one position. The second position is the jets, the fighter jets. So the fighter jets, according to the situation that is seen and have been seen for the last 3 days, since May 7, Indian fighter jets might have crossed the airspace or entered the Pakistani airspace. They must have crossed the line of control and must have entered the Pakistani airspace, from where they might have fired missiles at the targets that they claimed, 11 cities that they claimed that they have targeted the terrorist safe havens. And the Pakistani sides claims that they have intercepted the Indian fighter jets, and five of them have been downed, is the Pakistan media, or Pakistan military establishment, or Pakistani state media actually claims this. But India claims, or India says, that the jets their fighter jets have not entered the Pakistani airspace. They have fired their missiles from the Indian territory, in the Indian-held Kashmir. This is the second story. The third one is that both of the countries, they claim that they have sent scores of drone fighters to each other airspaces and each other's
Right.
territories. Now, none of the governments denies any incident of not sending the drones. Both claim that they have sent the drones. So both claim and both are verified. I mean, like the drone from Pakistani side and from the Indian side, both have crossed the line of control.
Right. So airspace is much violated by either side.
Yes.
And of course, the most those Indian air fighter jets, uh, they shoot those villages very near the borders. It's possible to shoot from India side to the village unless it is very close to the border or on the line of the border with the villages.
Yeah, they were, not far away from the border. The cities that were fired at, the targeted, are the places in the cities that were targeted. They were not far away from the line of control. So, like one can safely assume that they must have fired their missiles near the line of control. So, and of course, this Rafale jet that we hear that it has the capacity to fire missiles just a few hundred kilometers away. So they must have done like this. This is safely to assume like this.
I see. So missiles are crossing the border each other and drones are crossing border each other. So that is clear. And
Yes.
the other thing we don't know, but still now both India and Pakistan officially they don't have any ceasefire or any ceasefire agreement.
No, not at all. Like the Pakistani military spokespersons yesterday held a very lengthy press conference, and they said that they would not be ready to go for de-escalation until they retaliate the until they carry out a retaliatory action to retaliate the invasion, as they claim, have been carried out by the Indian fighter jets, and they will not de-escalate. The same is the case with India. They say that their action is measured and non-escalatory, but they will continue to teach a lesson, quote unquote, to teach a lesson to the Pakistani authorities and the military generals who support and provide safe havens to the terrorist organizations.
See, so it means they are no desire to make any ceasefire agreement from both sides. And in your experience, the previous war, Pakistan-Indian war, as you said, there was 4 times, 5 times already
Yes.
war in the past. How they ended those war through official ceasefire agreement or how they have done those how those war were ended.
Yeah, there were official ceasefire agreements in 1948, and then 1965, and then 1971. This similar agreement that the Pakistan says that they have held an abeyance. This is one of the agreements that they had signed, the ceasefire agreement that they had signed. 1965 agreement was signed in Tashkent. At that time, it was Soviet Union, and Soviet Union actually brokered the deal. Now, in my observation, or the data that we have so far, whenever there are hostilities between Pakistan and India, or a fully fledged war between Pakistan and India, some third force, our forces, mean like at that time Soviet Union and the US, and of course, now Russia, China, and America. If China, Russia, and America, and Saudi Arabia and Iran, these five countries are more crucial in brokering a deal between Pakistan and India to sign a ceasefire agreement. So the agreement has so far been held, mean it has not been broken by any sides. Though India has retaliated after Pahalgam attack, India has retaliated by suspending the Indus Water Treaty between the two countries, and Pakistan retaliated by holding a similar agreement in abeyance. But the ceasefire agreement that had been signed by both countries is holding so far.
It's not yet.
Yes, it's
They
intact.
they they still not willing to do ceasefire agreement at this time. India and Pakistan, any side, they bring external factor in this conflict to involve in this conflict.
Yes, Pakistan, the defense minister of Pakistan has been making appeals to various world countries. He has not yet named any country, but he has been appealing to world powers and regional powers to intervene and to broker a peace deal between Pakistan and India. But so far, it has not been responded positively. India thinks that it has to, quote unquote, teach a lesson to Pakistan, and hence India is not yet ready. India has not yet shown any readiness or preparedness to include any external partner or parties to broker a peace deal. But Pakistan has been appealing to various actors in the region and across the region to intervene and broker a peace deal. But nobody, as I told you so far, these five countries, most of the time, traditionally have taken part in brokering peace deal to bring both the countries and to make both the countries sit together and talk peace and enter into a dialogue for peace. The US, Russia, China, Saudi Arabia, and Iran. But so far, none of these countries has shown any readiness to intervene or to kind of bring both the countries together to talk peace.
I see. So, by the way, Pakistan was supported by any other countries, China or US or Iran or anybody supported in this conflict, or India has any country supported in this war from behind the conflict?
Mean you are talking about that? Is there
But
any other?
you said the drone used by India is from Israel. It means Israel supported right now, or they bought the drone long time ago?
Well, there is no active support from any sides to any of these two countries. Active support means that none of the countries has so far claimed that they will support India or Pakistan.
I see.
But of course, mean like the technologies that have already been imported
Yeah,
from
that's
various
another issue.
countries by both the countries, they are being used.
I see. That is the not active supporting,
Yes,
that
yes,
there
yes,
is
yes,
every
yes.
country has they bought weapon from various country, and it's been I mean already bought, not
Yes,
recently,
they
not
have
recently
already been
bought.
imported by both the countries, man. Like it's not the case that I mean, for example, China or Israel or any other country just sent their technology for the sake of only this hostility. Now, it was, many technologies have been imported by both the countries long before this conflict erupted.
Right. So, and you said those uh, terrorists in April 28 that killed 26 people in Kashmir, and that uh, terrorists, uh, you Pakistani accepted they are terrorists. They attack in Kashmir, and those terrorist background, the name of terrorist group and where they are based and how they are, started the shooting and who are linked with those terrorist group. Is Pakistani terrorist group or Afghan or Iran or Syria or which terrorist group? You have any idea?
Well, as soon as this terrorist attack was carried out in Pahalgam, Kashmir, Pakistani side condemned the attack on media and asked for investigation of the terrorist attack. The Indian side instantly, after just a few minutes, just accused Pakistan for harboring the terrorist who attacked the tourists in Pahalgam or in Kashmir. Now, this is one part of the story. The second part of the story is that the attack was, the responsibility for the attack was given by some kind of a group unknown in Pakistan. Actually, it was not much known, a much known group. It was called Jihad Front. Jihad Front, a group that took responsibility for the attack, called itself Jihad Front. Indian side claims that Jihad Front is actually connected to Lashkar-e-Tayyiba, which is based in Murid-Ke, Pakistan. Murid-Ke is also the place which was targeted by the Indian missiles. And Pakistan claims that this Jihad Front has no connection whatsoever with Lashkar-e-Tayyiba or any other group based in Pakistan. But nobody actually denies the fact that there are groups that are operating in Pakistan and Afghanistan and other regional countries, which time and again bring the two countries to the brink of war. So I yesterday tweeted that these terrorist organizations, armed private militias, are strategically more sagacious to bring the two countries to the brink of war as compared to the policymakers of the two countries. So the two countries are on the brink of war because of an attack which is not actually verified so far from which side or which organization actually, where was this organization based, and how this organization carried out this attack, and what was the modus operandi of this organization, because it's like Pahalgam is some 200 to 300 kilometers away from Lahore, the city of Punjab in Pakistan. So, like this modus operandi is not yet known. The identity of the terrorist organization calling itself Jihad Front is not known. Of course, it is not known that it has any connection with any of the armed private militia inside Pakistan or Afghanistan or Iran or any other country. So it is not yet known. No, the details have yet to come, of course. Mean like nobody has details now. Mean like the Indian side, which claims this attack to be carried out by the Jihadi Front or claimed by the Jihad Front, has connection with Lashkar-e-Taiba. It has not, the Indian side has also not yet come with some kind of details, some convincing details that connects Jihad Front with Lashkar-e-Taiba or any other group based in Pakistan.
So it means it's still investigating those terrorist group and the source of terrorists and their activity, their background by both sides, from Indian government and from Pakistani government. They are still undergoing investigation. I think they are still not finished, not concluded investigation, right? And the conflict is still ongoing, and you don't know yet when they can end the conflict because it's still tension out here. Nobody wants to officially make agreement uh, so far yet. And that Kashmir region, I mean, those terrorists themselves are Kashmiri, or they are not Kashmiri, or why they have to involve in the Kashmir, that's also important.
Yes, of course, this is very, very important. In fact, one of the main factors, which, one of the main claims, contested claims, in fact, as far as the source or the objective or intent or modus operandi of the terrorist attack, it is not yet known by anybody. Mean, like, for example, it is being it might be investigated, and investigate must have already started, and no conclusive reports have yet been made public. But this is, of course, a very contending or contested theory, that the Pakistani side thinks or claims that this, whatever this jihadi front is, it is based in Indian-held Kashmir. It's an indigenous group. It's located and situated in Indian-held Kashmir, while the Indian side claims that this group is connected with Lashkar-e-Taiba, well-known Lashkar-e-Taiba, which is based in Pakistan, like Hafiz Saeed, who, the well-known figure who is imprisoned now after a trial in the Pakistani court. He was imprisoned for several attacks inside India, but in Kashmir. But the Indian claim is emphatically and consistently denied by the Pakistani side, that this jihadi front is in any way connected with Lashkar-e-Taiba, which is based in Pakistan. The Pakistani side claims that this jihadi front or jihad front or any other front that is indigenous, and it is carrying out, or they have been carrying out attacks because of the unrest that started after the Article 370 to make Kashmir as part of to make Kashmir administratively as part of India. This was promulgated by the Indian central government. The unrest started, and this was one of the result or consequence of that unrest, that some indigenous group have again started attacks against Indian interests and Indian people.
I see. So, as you said, that terrorist group are the local Kashmiri from Indian side, Indian controlled Kashmir territory, and they are Indian citizen. You want to say like that?
No, I want to say that it's what Pakistan claims.
Right. So Pakistan
Pakistan
said like,
claims these are indigenous groups carrying out attacks against Indian military and Indian government and Indian interests because of the unrest that is there in Kashmir are increased and enhanced inside Kashmir because the Indian government had promulgated or repealed a law called 370, which made Kashmir part of the Indian administered governance structure. So after that, Pakistan claims after that, many groups which were sleeping cells, they have reactivated their sleeper cells and they've started attacks on the Indian military and Indian government installations and Indian interests. But India denies it, and it says
right.
that all these terrorist organizations have links in one way or the other with the Pakistani-based extremist armed private militias.
I see. So still nobody confirmed yet those terrorists are Indian citizen or Pakistani citizen, which is then still not confirmed. But India said they are the terrorists are from Pakistan or linked to the
Yes,
Pakistan, and they made a shooting in Kashmir and killed people. That's Indian side, and Pakistan said that the terrorists are Indian citizen from Kashmir region, from those local region or something like that. So it's still uh, investigation and nobody yet concluded, so we cannot say exactly who are they. Still we have to wait and see. And you said also LOC, line of control. I mean, uh, both India and Pakistan agree LOC, not just India and Pakistan. It is, as you said, internationally agreed line of control, international border. You mean international agree LOC mean United Nations accepted that LOC, or what how can you say what is
well, when
international
after
internationally accepted mean who are accepted?
well after I mean like a war erupted between India and Pakistan in 1948 on Kashmir on the claim of both the countries on Kashmir. The UN, the United Nations, brokered a deal
I see.
with the help of Security Council. Now, the United Nations actually put a line, drew a line between the two Kashmirs. The Pakistani held Kashmir in the west, and the Indian held Kashmir in the east. So, Srinagar is, for example, Srinagar is the capital of Indian held Kashmir. Muzaffarabad is the capital of Pakistani held Kashmir. And it was acknowledged and accepted by the Security Council as line of control. It could not be called as border because the issue was still disputed. And United Nations brought out a policy, or you can say a kind of a proposal. The United Nations proposed that the disputed area will be decided by referendum inside Kashmir, but so till the referendum is held, this line will be considered as an international border.
So you want to say the United Nations initiated LOC, and Pakistan agree, India agree for LOC, line of control, and
And Security Council agreed, yes,
right,
yes.
UN accepted, a kind of UN accepted, and you still want to do referendum in Kashmir for Kashmiri opinions. It means Pakistani side Kashmir, you have already made referendum in Pakistan side, or India side, they have done or they have not yet done. How can you say that?
Well, the referendum was not held. In fact, what happened later on was okay, let me tell you, to make it a bit clear. The Pakistani side still thinks that the referendum is valid and it should be held. But for that, it is necessary that troops of both sides, Pakistani troops from their own controlled Kashmir and Indian troops from their uh, controlled Kashmir. They should back down. They should go back to their barracks, and an independent UN body should hold referendum or plebiscite in Kashmir. That is what Pakistani side says. But at the same time, when Pakistani side says, it says that the Indian troops should go back, but their own troops should remain there because Kashmiris want that they should be with Pakistan. So there is a problem then. This is one issue. The second issue is that after 1971 war, there was Simla Agreement. Simla Agreement. So the Simla Agreement actually made contingent on both the countries that their disputes and unresolved issues will be decided. All the disputes will be resolved bilaterally. Like no other party, no third party will be involved. Like no UN will be involved. So Indian side says that as there a similar agreement has been signed and elections have been held in Kashmir, and Kashmir is an autonomous region. That is why there is no need to hold a plebiscite. For plebiscite, it is necessary that troops of both sides just go back to their barracks or go back to the international border instead of the line of border. So this is a bit complicated. The Pakistani side still insists that there should be plebiscite, but is not ready to hold back their troops or to call back their troops. The Indian side is not ready for plebiscite at all because it thinks that the issue or the proposal of plebiscite just kind of it was accepted by Pakistan. India thinks that the issue of plebiscite was accepted by Pakistan to be gone over or to be finished or to be ended because they agreed that the issues will be or the disputes will be resolved bilaterally. So it's a bit complicated. It's like this. The Pakistani side wants a plebiscite but does not want to call back the troops. The Indian side doesn't want a plebiscite because it thinks that the similar agreement actually finished this UN resolution defectively. It actually defectively replaced the UN resolution. This is what Indian side says.
Yeah, so the Kashmir, the Pakistani control Kashmir, you have any regular election in those regions as well? Whenever there is election season, they can participate in election in Pakistani control Kashmir.
Yeah, there are elections in both Pakistani and Indian held Kashmirs.
So,
Like both sides have actually given kind of a semblance of autonomy, and there are state assemblies in both Kashmirs. Like Indian held Kashmir and Pakistani held Kashmir. Though both sides think, Kashmiris in both Pakistani held Kashmir and Indian held Kashmir, they think that their autonomy is just by name. It's not actually given, and they have not yet been given a right to govern themselves. Both the Kashmiris from the Indian held Kashmir side and from Pakistani held Kashmir side, both Kashmiris, both sides of Kashmir, I mean, population or people of both sides of the Kashmir and most of the political parties also, they think that this autonomy or these elections are sham and it's not actual autonomy. The Indian held Kashmir, people of Indian held Kashmir thinks
Right.
that yes, that it's not the real autonomy and it's not the real elections. The same is the case with the Kashmiris and the Pakistani side. They also think that it's not the real autonomy and it's not the real elections.
I see.
But
So,
elections are held in both sides, yes.
of course, that is a political party for the prime minister position election or those parliament elections that will be held, but it's not necessary the election uh, pave a way for self-determination of Kashmiri, So
Mm.
which means that is the requirement of self-determination for Kashmiri. It's maybe a kind of referendum